Today, we're honored to welcome Professor Mostafa Ibrahim, founder and CEO of ROEYA Group, consultant gastroenterologist, PhD holder from University Libre de Brussels, and a recognized innovator in healthcare delivery and medical education across Africa and Middle East. Let's start from the very beginning. You've had such a diverse and purposeless career. What was the moment that first inspired you to become a doctor?
Okay, so first of all, thank you very much for really having me today. Very happy to be at home. It's a very long story. So to be honest, the story started that I had never thought about being a doctor. So in the school, I was into political science. So my aim was to go to economics and political science. And then at the last year of the school, a little bit of pressure from my father and mother that I should go to medical school. And it's a very funny story that they told me at that time, okay, just let's try medical school for 2-3 months. And if you are not happy, you can go always to political science. And then it was 7 years of medical school. And then after that, when I finished medical school, I would love to, at that time, my dream to do ophthalmology because it's a little bit engineering slash medical. Also, again, my father told me at that time, okay, just let's try gastroenterology for a couple of weeks. And then if you are not happy, let's go back to ophthalmology. And now it's 20 years in gastroenterology. And I think this is one of the things that I think it was very inspiring, that from day one, I had a vision a little bit different than a normal doctor. So this is why I think this is one of the very important things in my early days that created in my brain a little bit of a doctor brain and a very small entrepreneur on the other side.
So why did you choose gastroenterology and endoscopy specifically?
Okay, so very honest, a pressure. So this was a family pressure. I think that's same that you are going to have, both of you, a little bit of family pressure. Okay, let's do gastro. But also, to be very honest, 20 years, I'm doing gastroendoscopy for the last 22 years. At that time, gastro was very, very limited. So we're doing only a little bit of reflux in Egypt, especially with Hep C and hepatitis C and liver disease. And this is also, again, one of the things that I have done. Really, I don't know why, but I'm always out of the box. So I always see where's the people, and then I go up, I go away. So this is, I think, also something in my genes. So when I started, from day one, I was not into hepatology. I was into gastroenterology. So I was into endoscopy and gastroenterology, not hepatology. And all my colleagues at 20 years ago, everyone in the country was treating hepatitis C and hepatitis B. I have never been into this part. I was into more gastroenterology. And I think this is, after 6 months of starting gastroenterology, I see that, okay, that we can do a lot. Really, I clicked with endoscopy. And from that date, it's 22 years now.
So your academic path is quite unique. What led you to have a PhD in University Libre de Brussels?
Okay, so this is another very funny story. It's a long story, but I will try to make it short as much as I can. So when I finished my residency I have been a resident in Cairo University. When I finished my residency, I said, okay, I have the dream of everyone like you. So a young doctor that I would like to travel for 1 year to have a fellowship abroad. And because being the son of one of the greatest endoscopists in the Middle East, so it was easier for me to choose. So first of all, I decided to go to Germany. So I went to the German school here to start learning the language. And after 1 day, decided this is not for me. So for sure, this is not for me. I know nothing about German. So this was and then I said the second thing, let's think about, and again, this is my advice to all of you. You should always think about being away from the crowd. So everyone at my age, everyone was studying either PLAB to go to the UK or USMLE to go to the US. I tried to search another countries that they are not really out of the box. So this is why my decision between France and Belgium. And I was in the States attending the DDW, our very famous congress every year. And I met Professor Devier, who was my mentor and who I stayed in Belgium with him for years. I met him there. I said, okay, I would like to come. He told me, yes, to come what? I said, yes, to come to learn ERCP. He said, no. I said, what? What means no? He said, no. If you would like to come, you are coming to learn hepatobiliary disease. And this is another very important message for all my younger colleagues and for all of you, that it's not about technique. It's about this. We are treating patients. So we need always to focus about it's the patient. So this is why my first lesson from the year, Mustafa, if you come, you are coming to learn disease, how to manage pancreas disease, hepatobiliary disease. And then he told me, okay, let's go. You should come at June 2009. So this was the start. I left my family, I left my wife, I left my kids at that time, and went to Belgium alone for the first year. And I remember very well, at that time I was 29 years old, crying means crying, in my room every Friday, because I had to speak in French, and I know nothing in French, and I have to manage the residents in French, I have to speak with the patients in French, and I have to do consultation in French. So this was one of the biggest, I remember a Friday when I was crying in the room, why I'm here. But again, a little bit with some Egyptian touch. Give you a very funny story. So I have to report, for example, I have to dictate the endoscopy reports. The things that you are doing now is pressure for me. So I have to dictate reports, and I cannot dictate in French. So what I did, a little bit of the Egyptian touch. So I dictate in English. I went to the medical secretary. I give her every week Twix, chocolate, Mars, a little bit of just small cadeau to translate for me. And this is what she did for the first year, to be able to write in French. After that, after the first year, I normally should go back. But at that time, Professor Devier offered me a permanent job in Erasmus, in the ULB, for an advanced endoscopist. And at that time, my family moved, and we stayed there for another 7 years. Within this 7 years, one of my dreams was always to do a PhD from Belgium. And normally, you know, that PhD, it's more about academic science and basic research. I told Devier at that time, no, I would like to do a clinical PhD, So he told me, yes, but this is very difficult. So I tried to find the link. And I think this is another, again, back to my main concept, where is the crowd? Go away. So the crowd everyone was doing basic research, doing the PhD. I decided to do clinical. And I tried to find a clinical problem between Europe and Egypt and the Middle East. And at that time, we found bleeding. We have, at that time, thousands of patients dying from bleeding viruses. And we have a very new tool. It was a very new powder by one of the companies that to stop this bleeding, we spray on the bleeding viruses and then stopped. And this was the first ever clinical research on this powder, on the viruses in the world. So we did a randomized controlled trial between Belgium and Egypt. I was flying 1 week here, 1 week there to do cases for 2 years. And this was the start. And finally, I got my PhD from a clinical research on a new technique that was the first ever in human.
Okay, so looking back, what were the most challenging moments in your early career?
A lot. So one of them was leaving my family, traveling alone to Belgium, knowing no one, speaking only English, not French. So this was really a very tense days, and I have to manage my life for 1 year alone. This was a very difficult time. Second difficult time was traveling too much. So I had to travel between Egypt and Belgium for 3 years when I was doing the cases. And also, to be very honest, doing research of very high quality European level research in Egypt was another challenge. That you needed to have to control everything, the setup, the research nurse. Also, this was a very difficult days. What else? No, a lot of. So, for example, one of them, and this is what I always tell you as my very bright colleagues, younger colleagues, you have to pay. So there is nothing free of charge. So you have to know that there will be sacrifices. Nothing is free of charge. So this is the balance between, if you have really a big goal that you would like to achieve, you need to understand there is a lot of sacrifices in the middle.
Okay, so was there someone who helped you through that?
A lot. So I think I'm blessed, alhamdulillah, by people. So a lot. So my father and mother, so this is for sure the first who supported me, okay? Because the normal scenario for me was, okay, stay in Egypt, go with your father in his clinic, be the fellow, and then that's it. So you will be a good professor one day, that's it. So they supported me to travel and to do this out of the box. my wife for sure, and then Devier, so my mentor. So Jacques Devier, he really did everything for me. So from all over 8 years in Belgium, starting from scratch, teaching me everything, teaching me how to think, teaching me how to do things from the start, teaching me research, and very tough days. And this is now I love when I put some pressure on you or on Jesse. When I put pressure, I remember the pressure that had been put on me. So really think that, okay, midnight, Mostafa, you have to read this now and summarize it and finish it tomorrow morning. Things like that. So this was my early days. Always you write this for me in 20 seconds. So this was the life. But and also plus a lot of colleagues. So during the journey, I remember very well the statement that I will never forget from Devier. He told me, Mostafa, if you would like to succeed when I'm back to Egypt, 2 things: promote others and find a team. And this is exactly what I did. This was the advice. So I'm promoting everyone. So I'm following this really, really every day. Every day I'm trying to promote others. And this is something against our Egyptian culture a little bit. When you promote others, people think that, okay, when I promote Jessie, for example, she's not taking anything from me. But when I'm promoting her, eventually after a couple of years, I'm also being promoted. So this is one, and then finding a team. So when I'm back from Egypt, we were only 2. Now we are more than 100. I'm managing a team of 100 people. All of them, they are bright people like both of you. So this is finding a team is one of the secrets that I will advise every one of you to do.
So was there a moment that stayed with you throughout those years? Like a special moment for you?
Yes, a lot. One of them, it's a very fun story. When one of the suturing device for obesity, I started from scratch. So me and Professor Vincent Aubirty from Belgium, we started this technique. It was a dream. We went to a startup company, and then 2 engineers and 2 of us, we started drawing a dream how to have a suturing device to do obesity by endoscopy. And they told me to do this, you need to do an animal study. So to do an animal study in Europe is not like in Egypt, it's very expensive. So we have to find our ways, our Egyptian ways. So I searched for anyone doing another an animal study that we can share the same room and the same lab. And we found one in the university. But she told me at that time, you need to work, Mostafa, after midnight. So she was doing her study on the pig in the morning, and then I was only allowed to go to the lab after midnight. So pushing the scope from our lab in the midnight, in the university, in the streets of the university, pushing the tower, and then also something personally, I have a big fear from dogs. Having all the security dogs all over the university trying to just, to follow me, what he's doing, and putting this scope in the lab and starting this research from the scratch. So this was things that I will never forget. I will never forget that this is really the persistence. If you would like to do a change, you need to forget about the queue, forget about the crowd. You need to really open for your own self, your own way.
So your career took a big turn from clinical practice to entrepreneurship. Could you tell us more about that?
Okay, so this is also another very, very, very long story. So when I came back from, one of the highlights from Belgium, the 8 years of Belgium, this company, the company that they invented with us the suturing device for obesity. So I have seen by my eyes what's meant by startup, an idea, a very crazy idea that we'd like really to do a sutures in the stomach. 2 bright engineers, really one of the most bright people I've seen in my life. 2 young doctors, they sit together, start drawing things, and then going to do this as a startup. And it was a spin-off from the university. This is something we lack in Egypt, even that when a big university in Egypt, they see bright people, they are not really helping a lot. But there in the ULB, they were help. Okay, if you have a bright idea, let's start your startup, and we are going to support you even by money in the start. So this was in the back of my head. This is one. When I returned to Egypt, I started the normal clinical practice for maybe 2-3 months, and I have seen a very, very big gap between what I have been living in 8 years in Belgium and then what I'm doing here. And the gap was not only the skills of a physician, The gap was everything. The setup of the room, the nurses, the cleaning machine, the accessories, the system, the reporting system, really the discussion with the patient, everything. So this was a second highlight in my brain. And then I went to one of the people that really helped me a lot in my life, Professor Umayma Idris, the owner of Provider. I went to her in the office. I told her I would like to buy a small clinic to start my practice. She said no. I have never met her before. I just explained to her about my story, my life, what I'm doing, what I would love to do, blah, blah, blah. She told me, okay, no, you are going to buy a big area to do an endoscopy center. I said, no, but I don't have money. She said, no, you will do this. And even if you don't have money, I will give you money. I have never met her before. So this was the third highlight. And then I went to my family. I said, okay, I met Professor Umayma Idris. She said, okay, why not to do a big endoscopy center instead of a small clinic? They said, yes, we are ready to support, even because all what I had and this is another thing also. At that time, all what I have in terms of cash money was only the money that I saved from selling my apartment before I traveled. So I have zero. So I have zero means zero. So I have only this amount of money either to buy a small clinic, and that's it. So at that time, I had to do a small fundraising in my family. So they said, okay, we would like to support. And then another important person in my life, in my real start, was my lawyer. I told him, okay, I need to do this. Okay, from day one, Mostafa, let's build a startup, a true startup. Don't just open a very small clinic. Let's do a company. And this is why ROEYA was built, a company, a startup company. And from day zero, and this is something I don't know, this is, alhamdulillah, from God. I have written from day zero that the goals of this company, number one, is to do medical care for patients, and then training for physicians, and then importing new innovation. And I don't know really at that time, 10 years ago, why I was writing this. I just said it was a dream. Let's do the company that do everything. And this was the start of having this small startup.
So how did you manage such transition? Business and medicine are completely different worlds.
A lot of things. So, and a very old story. When I was house officer, like you, at your age, no, when I was not house, when I finished when I was a specialist, a gastroenterology specialist, so we have 24-hour shift. So normally a normal specialist will do what? Will do the 24-hour shift, and the second day will go home to sleep, and then the third day will come again for a 20 hours shift. What I did at that time, I decided, no, everyone was studying gastroenterology. If you have 2 hours free, you read gastroenterology. I did another thing, I did my MBA. So I went to the AUC, I did my MBA at that time, and nobody was understanding why I'm doing this, why I'm doing MBA, why I was a specialist in gastroenterology. Because from day one, I believe that this is, to be really a good doctor, you need to have skills, you have science, knowledge, but also managerial skills. So this was the combination between all of them. And my father was just telling me a couple of days ago, I remember my final project in this MBA was about leadership style. And nobody should laugh in the room because I have done a research of different type of leadership at that time in Egypt. There was the democratic leadership, and there is the autocratic, and was the third one which I proposed was the autocratic but loving people. So this is what I've chosen now. So I'm a very really tough manager. This is, I know, but loving people. So this is the combination I learned from this MBA. And then I think it's not impossible, because finally during your day you are managing everything. So management, so financials, management, communication skills, presentation skills, all of them, they are marketing, sales, they are things that you are doing in your everyday. So just having a little bit of knowledge on this will add a lot to all the physicians. So no, I think it's hectic. I'm working 18 hours a day, 18 to 19 hours a day till date. So I'm 45 years old, still sleep maximum 4 hours, but still managing.
So yeah, thank you for bringing leadership up. We want to know, what are the principles that move you today?
Again, the two advices from the VR plus a psychological problem, I will tell you. Number one, the two advices: promote others. So this is what I'm doing, and with every single one I know in my life, I'm trying to promote others. I'm trying to be really the coach of everyone. So this is, it takes time, it takes energy, but it's very, very rewarding. Yeah.
Yes.
So this is something I do with everyone I can. Number two is finding a team. So to find the proper team and to really to support the proper team, this is one of the most important secrets in success. My psychological problem, which is everyone in the room knows very well, I'm a perfectionist. So I need everything perfect. So this, I think, this is the three main principles I'm doing. And then something which is, again, I will go a little bit outside of our discussion today for my mother advice, is helping people. Sometimes I'm very frustrated and tired before helping a lot of people, because I receive per day a minimum of maybe 25, 30 calls of people that they need some advice, medical advice, connecting them with another doctor, things like that. Sometimes I'm very tired, but my mother always tell me that this is the secret, that God is supporting us, all of us, only for this. So I should always be helping others. So if I put three things that four things, being, try to be perfect as much as you can. Don't really accept things that 50-50, comme ci, comme ça. So you need to be really very, and this, I think this is one of my, sorry. So when, for example, Mariam is writing a report for me, I always read everything, make think that the report is really, everything is very perfect. This is one. Number two, promote others. Number three, find a brilliant team like you. Number four, help as much as you can people. I think if you do all of this four, you will fly, huh? So nothing will stop you.
Okay, and for young doctors who want to mix medicine and entrepreneurship, what's your advice?
You should. So now we are in 2025. We are an AI, in the AI world, in the digital marketing world. If you are the best physician ever, only in doing the medical thing, and you are not connected with the world, you will never succeed. So this is for sure an innovation. You need to, and I have seen this in all of you. So we all you. So you are all the graduates from New Giza University, and you are all bright in this, that you are all good doctors. But on the other side, you have always another thing: some research, some innovation, some medical devices, some management, some marketing. This is for sure. So my advice, no, you need to be this hybrid form. In the next 10 years, there is no place for the normal physician that is only good in science without any communication skills and marketing and AI and all of these things. You see now patients are coming to our clinics by AI reports. If you know nothing about this, and if you are not really updated into this, you will never be able to succeed.
So can you share with us a moment that you felt like, yes, this is making a difference?
Three of them. Number one, I was in, when I started the training courses that we are doing in ROEYA, I went to Alexandria, maybe after the fifth or sixth course. I found I met a doctor there. He told me, Mustafa, yesterday I did a polypectomy in a patient, a very good polypectomy, and just because I have learned on your simulators how to do polypectomy. So this was the first very big eye-opener. So yes, when we train people on simulator, really they will go back and they will treat patients. So this was something, okay, there is bigger goal here with this patient. So this is a moment I will never forget. And from that date, and this is what I'm putting pressure on all the training team here, that our end product, yes, we should generate profit for good. We should hire people, we should have growth, but our end product is patient. So we need always to concentrate when teaching doctors that there is a patient, he is going to treat a patient. So this was the first. The second, I remember one of your colleagues, Amira, she's now in the US. couple of years ago, she told Mustafa, I will apply for you for the first version of the Egyptian Entrepreneur Award. I said, but I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm a doctor, I'm an endoscopist, I do some training. But she told me, no, Mustafa, believe me, you will win. I said, never, this will never happen. She said, but just leave it on me. And then she applied for me, and I was in the finalist from the Entrepreneur Award, the first version. And at that time, I said, oh, what? I'm in another really league that was all the entrepreneurs of Egypt at that time with this, and this is only coming from the medical background. So this was another highlight. And then the very recent highlight, and this is again, the same happened with me. So Mariam called me, Mustafa, I'm going to apply for you for the Africa Business Hero. I said, yeah, Mariam, but you are crazy. We are physicians. I said, no, we are doing big thing. We are really doing a big change in teaching people, in educating people, in doing patient care. ROEYA has the only full solution service. Let's apply. And she did it for me. And we have been, alhamdulillah, selected from the best 50 companies all over Africa. Yeah.
Looking back, what was the most courageous decision you've made?
To travel to Belgium, to leave the comfort zone. This is why I'm always telling you, leave the comfort zone. So my comfort zone was I was living in an apartment very near to my father and mother. The comfort zone was to go with my father to his hospital and his clinic, and that's it. This was the normal comfort zone, and it will 100% be a normal doctor in a couple of years. But leaving all of this, traveling alone to a country which I know nothing, and I don't know the system, I don't know the language. I think this was the biggest move I did in my early days.
Okay, so Dr. Mostafa, how did it all begin?
All began when I finished this is the first time anyone I will say this the first time ever. So when I finished my school, before entering the medical university, the medical school, I had a game with my friends that every one of us should write in a small paper his dream. So everyone, let's say, I would like to, to marry, blah, blah, blah. I would like to. So I have written, I would like to do a center, a hospital/center to treat patients by a very high quality level, like Europe and the States. And I still have this paper. And I don't know the specialty. I don't know anything. I have written this paper till now. I have it. And when I see it now, and if you go inside this just sentence, to create a center or hospital, you need management, and need education, and you need patient care. So it's all about. But I have never thought about this now. But this was what I have written at almost 30 years ago now. Yes.
So let me ask you this. Why did you choose the name ROEYA?
This was another thing. So I had a lot when I came back, starting the company and the small startup. A lot of people advised me by Mostafa Scope, Mostafa Ibrahim Scope, things like that. So Mostafa, you need to put your name. Your name should be on the logo. Your name. This is your legacy. You need to start your legacy. Blah blah blah. I said no. I would like to put something totally without my name. This was number one. And then I searched about really what I need, and what I need was very simple: a different vision for patient care. So when I translated this different vision for patient care was ROEYA in Arabic. So ROEYA in Arabic means the vision. And then the first logo we had it on the ROEYA scope, not on the ROEYA training, which is Egypt. So I have one of a very good friends for me. He did the first logo for me. It was in Egypt, and inside Egypt with the stomach, and with the dream. So to have Egypt, and with a different really vision of treating the patient, the Egyptian patients, and this was the start of ROEYA.
So what was the first thing you launched under ROEYA?
Okay, so when I started the startup company, the ROEYA Healthcare Company, even I will go back a little step back. In Egypt, to have a company, you need to have an official name. So ROEYA is our brand. However, our official name is in Arabic called Dar al-Ilm for Medical Services, which means the home of science or the house of science. So this is again a coincidence, but this is our official name in the official papers. But ROEYA is our brand. So I started first by the ROEYA Scope with the first branch in Rufaidah. So this was a flagship endoscopy center in Rufaidah where all the new technology was there. I tried from the start to have all the European system in the reservation, in the call center, in the treating the patients, in the consultation. From day one, we have put 20 minutes slot per patient, no rush. I tried as much as I can to copy the European system. So this was the first ROEYA's was the ROEYA Scope, the Rufaidah branch.
So it's not just one service, it's a system.
Yes. So during the days, in the early days, I have found that doing an endoscopy center is okay, but it will never really solve the problem. So I tried. I had again another very good friend. So again, he's my lawyer, and he told me, Mustafa, let's draw. And you all of you here in the room know that I love mind maps. I'm into mind maps. So we start the first mind map. Okay, what is the problem that we need to treat everyone in the Middle East and Africa in a good way? What is the problem? We need places like ROEYA Scope. Okay, this is one. We need physicians, good physicians. We need to educate them. So this means education. So this was the birth of ROEYA Training Center. And then we need innovation. At that time, it was very difficult to bring innovation from the US or Europe or China or Japan to Egypt. So having ROEYA import to be able to import new innovation. And then the last four pillar was research, because I did my PhD by myself, flying between two countries, putting the CRF in my hand, writing all the CRF. At that time, 9 years ago, really doing a research in Egypt and the Middle East and Africa was extremely difficult. So this why was the idea that this all a complementary service, doing patient care in ROEYA Scope, doing training in ROEYA Training Center, importing new innovation that is needed in patient care, and then finally having all of this and publishing research from all of this. So this is the big ROEYAs which we have now.
Okay, so let's start with Scope. What makes it special?
Customized patient care. It's not, this is the secret. So it's not, you need to, every patient is not, I give you a story. So when I was a very young resident in Egypt, we have always the idea of patient in the bed number 5 or patient in the bed number. So when I went to Belgium, I had this culture that, okay, Dr. Devier, this is the MRI or this is the CT of patient number 5. He told me, stop, Mustafa. What is the problem of the patient? And he learned me a lesson I will never forget. Mustafa, we are treating patient. We are not treating images. Maybe the image of the MRI or the labs are not good, but if the patient had another thing. So this is where I build ROEYA Scope on. It's about we are treating human beings. Not, this is why everyone in the room, I hate WhatsApp. I hate the patient sending labs and voice notes on WhatsApp. Because this is, again, we are treating, this is very famous in Egypt. Some labs and a voice note. But okay, where is the patient? We are treating patient, human being. We are not treating some PDFs. So this is how I built ROEYA Scope. ROEYA Scope that we are customizing patient care according to the patient himself. So this is really the difference between ROEYA Scope and others.
Okay, so with outsourcing the endoscopy service to other hospitals, how do you maintain the quality?
This is another story. So again, thanks God, we have, because many of the training and our very good relationship with the industry, with the companies, we have a lot of scopes. We have, maybe ROEYA has the biggest number of scopes in Egypt. So we started about another idea. Why Uber is very successful? Uber is a very simple concept. Good, clean car, good driver, and someone that he would like to be taken from here to here. So what we did in ROEYA, outsourcing medical services, that we were Uber, which means A big hospital, they have a patient that needs to do this technique, and they don't have the infrastructure or the scopes or the trained doctor or the trained nurse to do this. So we are giving them the full solution, which includes scope, accessories, trained nurse, trained physician to treat their patient. And this was another story. This was another thing. Again, back to the idea of the people who advised me to put my name under ROEYA, Mostafa Scope. If I did this, I will never be able to cooperate with others. We all physicians all over the world, they have the ego problem. I have zero ego problem, which means I have no problem that ROEYA support others and they have their glory. It's for me again. Look to the bigger picture. It's about patient care. If this hospital can treat their patient by our system, our tools, our scopes, good for them and good for the patient. It's not about really that Mostafa did things. And this is the same. In even outsourcing the services we have done now with more than 10 hospitals, I rarely did anything myself. I always support other physicians to go and treat patients in these hospitals.
That's incredible. So now to your flagship, the ROEYA Training Center.
Yes.
Why did you choose simulation-based mobile training?
This is my very small baby. Okay, so again, my story, what I have just told you, that to travel and to leave your family and to be trained, all of this is very difficult now. Number one, because of cost. It's very, very difficult for young people like you to travel, and the cost of living and all of this. Number one, now it's almost impossible to be trained on patients with all the MDR, with all the regulation all over the world. Now to be trained on patient first, this is illegal now. So the only way is to be trained on simulator before patient. So previously, before ROEYA, there was only 2 simulator centers, one in the US and one in Europe, that people will travel there to be trained for a couple of days on this technique, this or this technique. What we created in ROEYA, we created for the first ever all over the world, the traveling training center, that we fly to the countries with the scopes, with the simulators, with the curriculum, with the young physicians like you, that they are going to manage the training on the ground. And the other secret is also supporting the local expert. And this was another secret from ROEYA. I'm not competing with anyone. I'm supporting, back to the idea of Uber. Let's take Kenya as an example. Kenya, they have a trainees and they have very good experts. But where is the problem? That they don't have simulators and they don't have the curriculum and the scopes to be trained. So ROEYA supports the infrastructure for this training. We send our simulators, we send our scopes, we send also we never send only simulators like by DHL. We always simulators by young physicians like you to be able to make the stimulation correct. And then either a local expert or an international expert will fly to this country to train these physicians. We started by, I think, 1 or 2 simulators, doing this in the lab here, me and one of our nurses, our head nurse, and one of our colleagues here doing this in the lab, putting the stomachs, putting the bleeding sites, blah, blah, blah. And now we have more than 35 different simulators that they can do everything, almost everything. And the secret in ROEYA training that we are really very good in customization. We can customize our simulators to any technique possible in endoscopy, no matter whatever disease, cancer, bleeding, tumors, anything. We can customize our simulators are a mix of biological parts, computer parts with some AI, and then also like a plastic things or a plastic shields. So we are combining all of this to give the doctors the best experience as if he's in a normal bleeding patient or a tumor patient or a ERCP patient or whatsoever.
So how many doctors have you trained so far?
This is a very good. I will give, before giving you the numbers, it was a decision. Again, back to the decision, okay, should I do it alone? So if I decided 9 years ago to do it alone, this means maximum if I work, I sleep 4 hours a day, which means 20 hours a day times 6 days. I normally take only 1 day weekend. So if you calculate, this means in 9 years, I will be able only to train maybe 100 physicians, 150 physicians. But from day one, I decided no. I decided I should cooperate with all the experts all over the world. So this is why now I'm very proud to say we have trained more than 10,000 physicians in 35 different countries with 300 experts and KOLs supporting us in these countries. So without this, so my big secret number is this 300 friend. We have 300 very good experts ready to support ROEYA in this 35 different countries. So again, back to the idea of the personal ego, and back to Mariam's question about if I'm a normal doctor, I have this ego, okay, I would like to do me. It's Mostafa. No. It's ROEYA supporting everyone. So this is why we reached these numbers of physicians to be educated and trained.
So back when you talked about the team, the ROEYA team, what do you think makes this team unique?
Energy, number one. They are all very young, 70% female, and the mean age, they are all at the age of my children. So I have 70% of the company, my children, I need to take care of them. So this is another thing. But on the other thing, they are extremely energetic, extremely with very positive energy, and also what I have seen that they love each other. So they are young people. They love the goal. They love the place. They love each other. They respect me a lot with all the pressure I'm putting. So we know, you all know that the pressure I'm putting on people is a lot. So this is for sure. We all know. But so here on the back of the camera, I have my personal assistant, and she I don't know how she's surviving. She's really, I don't know really how she's surviving. She had I think she's taking some medication to be able to absorb all the pressure I'm putting on her, but she's still living. So, but again, so the secret of ROEYA team, that they are young, they are ambitious, either admin people or doctors or nurses, and they love the place, they respect me, and this culture with the mix of the success of ROEYA.
And what's been the real patient impact?
This is very important. I'll give you a very good scenario what we did in Ethiopia. In 2019, ROEYA had been invited to go to Ethiopia to do the first hand-on training course. We went there with our simulator on basic upper endoscopy, basic colonoscopy. And then I asked the people there, okay, what are the number of physicians doing endoscopy? They told me, Mostafa, 0. So what is meant by 0? If a bleeding patient of a bleeding ulcer, what he will do? He told me at that time, I will go either, if he's rich, he will go to South Africa to be treated. If not, he will do surgery, or if not, he will die. That's simple. So we don't have endoscopists to do endoscopy and put some clips. This was 2019. I took this big gap. I went with a very good, so my best partner in the journey is a very good friend, more than brother. His name is Salim Tayyah from Fujifilm. I went with him to the Japanese embassy in Ethiopia. Okay, guys, we need to have a solution. And they granted to Ethiopia scopes. So they have a grant, and they supported Ethiopia by towers of scopes to different hospitals. And then after that, we went there 5 times. We trained during these 5 courses almost 100 physicians. Now this 100 physicians, just last week when we have, because we do always follow-up calls with our trainees, we have treated more than 200,000 patients in Ethiopia. So this is the true impact. When you go to a country, educate the people, and also you have the connection and support the industry to support you by donation of devices and infrastructure, and the government is really ready to support, we can make a difference. And this is what I always say to my when I have discussion. ROEYA is not only just putting some simulators, it's everything. It's the connection with the governments, it's the connection with the industry, it's the connection with the physician, it's the connection with the trainees. So it's all about this that finally can lead to patient care.
Yes. So, Dr. Mostafa, could you tell us more about the research side of ROEYA?
Okay, so again mentioning also a lot of people who helped me on my way. So we have one of our colleagues now. She left the company. She went to another big international company. Her name was Dr. Nuran Rojdi. She told me, Mustafa, we have a big problem in patient with pancreatic pseudocyst. And a couple of years ago, there was the new introduction in our field, something called the LAMS, which are special metallic stent to drain this complicated pancreatic cyst. She told me, so let's customize a simulator for this. I said, okay. We started doing this. We customize it and we start using this. And from this was our first publication. We assessed the effect of this simulator on the physician when they start putting the lamps on the simulator, and then they go back to their home, to their hospitals, and treat the patient. And we have seen a positive impact of doing this on the simulator before. This was the start. And after that, really everything is running. So we have now more than 10 studies running with ROEYA Research. We have one of them on obesity, a new suturing device. We have one of them on also CAD-eye from Fujifilm. It's a new AI solution detecting polyps. We have another one with Johns Hopkins University about post-pancreatitis ERCP. We have another one on lower GI bleeding. So again, we have a lot of international cooperation of different studies, and also we have a lot of validation. So one of the things, and now even Mariam is working now on a study of the effect of one of our simulator which contains AI before and after this. So we do always a pre-course survey and a post-course survey, and we assess the effect of this standard courses on the trainees themselves. So I think one of the things that can generate a lot of research in the very near future is education and training.
So that's a big step, leading innovation instead of waiting for it.
Yes.
Okay.
And the import unit.
Okay, so this was another thing that we have. This is the smaller arm of our ROEYA, which is when we see that there is an innovation, a very really a big innovation, doing a paradigm shift in one of the countries that we'd like to import to Africa and the Middle East. We use it. We do this, for example, with capsule endoscopy for the time being, and there is two other projects coming. But again, it's for me a tool that can help us in the bigger picture. I have never been. It's not only. It had never been my focus only to really import devices at all, but it's serve the bigger picture, because sometimes you need innovation to educate people.
Professor Mostafa, what's the next vision of ROEYA in 2030?
So I think the road from now to 2030 should be step by step. So again, everyone in the company knows that every day in the morning I have a new idea. I send emails at 5 a.m. with new ideas. We all know this. But on the other side, I think one of the things now, and thanks to all my team, so Marwan, the head of our training team, and Nancy, my really right arm, and Ala, our development manager, all of them now what they are doing, they try to stop me, not to push me. So when I have a crazy idea, they say, okay, Mustafa, let's take it step by step. So everything, because I have maybe 10, 20 ideas a day new. But after discussing with all the team now, so the steps should be, we will concentrate on the first 2 years on really increasing our education and training activity, because we have almost 90% of requests that we cannot do. We cannot perform because of the lack of resources and manpower. So now we are focusing on investing a lot in manpower and simulator to be able to fulfill already what we have in terms of requests. Because requests of training are coming from different angles, from physicians, from companies, from governments, from industry, from pharma companies. So there are a lot of things that we cannot do because of we need to duplicate our team, for example. This is one. So this will be the first 1.5 years. After that, next step, we have a great research team here led by physicians like you, really from all young, brilliant physicians. So they are working now on our AI simulators. That this will be the second step, putting AI and having this big data from the simulation. This will be maybe another year. And then after that, the full solution platform. So I would love to do the Amazon of gastroenterology, which is very simple. It should be a digital platform connecting everyone. So physicians that they need new innovation, new devices, it's through ROEYA platform. Trainees that they need to have educational courses and simulation through ROEYA platform. Companies that they would like to sell the new innovation in Africa and in the Middle East through our platform, which will include also VR training, which will include also even VR consultations. So my dream in 2030 is to have these 4 pillars of ROEYA into one platform, a technology, a health tech platform, ROEYA Tech. So this is our name till now, and I think this is the future. But to reach there, we have a lot of work during the next 5 years, inshallah.
And are you thinking of going beyond GI?
Yes, this is the this is the step number. So after we finish this part, no one is doing worldwide anything the same in gyna, in surgery, in cardiology, in radiology, in ortho. We have a lot of things that could be done in having this full solution in other specialties. But I think we need to finish ours first to be on a very steady base and then go to others.
So where do you see the biggest opportunities for healthcare innovation in Africa?
I think Africa needs a lot. So it's very simple. We have millions of patients that they need help. A lot of physicians that need to be trained. They are ready to be trained. And a lot of industry and governments and UN and NGOs ready to support. So this is the problem. But the previous problem was, for example, give you an example. A lot of NGOs were doing what? Just buying some scopes and sending scopes to Africa. This means nothing. It's not about sending devices. It's the full solution. So I think, yes, Africa, it's not a big problem to solve. There is a problem which we need to change the patient care level in Africa. The only solution is to have this funding from the NGOs and the governments through a very good platform to educate and build the infrastructure in this country, and then finally having better patient care. It's not a dream, it's possible. It needs a very hard work, but it's possible.
So you customize what every country needs?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So depending on the needs, for example, now getting back to the Ethiopia story, now what they are requesting more advanced techniques, more advanced education. They are not anymore, because again, the same physician is our trainee for 10 years. He will start being educated in technique number 1, very basic things, more, and then advanced. This is also the beauty of the simulation, that you have the long-term relationship with the same physician.
Okay, so if you could change one thing in healthcare in emerging markets, what would it be?
Education. So education, train the people, educate the people, support the young doctors. Simply, if we don't support the young doctors, when I'm getting old, I have no one to treat me. So it's very, very simple equation. We need to invest in education and training of young doctors all over Africa. They need a lot.
Yes.
It's very hard to keep going through all of this with this little time to sleep and everything. So what motivates you to keep going?
Honest, very, very honest answer, the team. When I see people like you and like all of the team here, like both of you and like the team, where they are, they have the future ahead, and this is really so. I love the team. I love supporting the team. I love to do a big footprint with this team. So this is the only thing that really makes me every day pushing more.
And finally, what legacy would you like to leave behind?
I would love one day that ROEYA to be mentioned as the true changer of patient care in Africa and the Middle East. So this will make me really living something in this world. So the small ROEYA to be bigger and bigger and to make a big difference. Inshallah. I have one more last question from my side to ask you. So this is something new. So this is a very small surprise. Okay, I would love. We start by Jesse first. Tell me about your really after you have heard the story of this and you have been from our team for the last years.
Yes, of course.
What's your future dream?
My future dream is to actually, part of it is a vision like yours, to actually make a difference. I want to stand out and make a difference. This is my goal.
And more difficult question, how much energy you are putting in this dream from now?
100%.
Okay, so this is good. Okay, this is good. And Mariam, what's your personal future dream?
Okay, I dream to like not be like anyone else, just like what you're trying to do with me, to like get me like away from the crowd, to make me think of new things, new ways to go, so that I can excel in everything in my life.
Okay, before we finish, I can tell you that both of you, inshallah, one day you will be really two big stars. So, but just remember that day that you have been my very small, very young children. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Mostafa.